sworn in two newly elected senators to serve for the remaining term of 2 years, replacing former senators from their senatorial zones. Senator Joseph Ikpea, Edo Central, has replaced Senator Monday Okpebholo, who is now the governor of Edo State, while Senator Emmanuel Nwachukwu, Anambra South, replaces late Senator Ifeanyi Patrick, who died last year. Topsy Gimba has details.
Lawmakers took their oath of office representing Edo Central and Anambra South senatorial districts. While Ikpea will be taking the place of Governor Monday Okpebholo in Edo State, Nwachukwu of the All Progressives Grants Alliance (APGA) will replace the late Senator Ifeanyi Uba. In his remarks before the oath-taking,
well-being and prosperity of the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
And prosperity of the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
I will strive to preserve.
The
fundamental objectives of direct principles.
The fundamental objectives and direct principles.
The President of the Senate, Godswill Akpabio, welcomed the lawmakers to the chambers and the dignitaries that accompany them. He admonished the lawmakers to carry out their functions as nationalists and not only as ambassadors to their senatorial district. Akpabio asked that 2 books be given to the newly sworn-in senators: the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria and the standing rules of the Senate to guide their legislative work.
You are no longer a senator of your political party. You are a senator of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Once you step into this chamber, you drop your party outside and come in here as a senator of the Federal Republic of Nigeria with the intention of carrying out and contributing to debates and other functions here as a nationalist.
Topsy Gimba reporting for Global TV News.
Topsy. Nigeria police say enforcement of vehicle tinted glass permit has been suspended following a court order halting the exercise. Spokesperson for the Federal Capital Territory Police Command, Superintendent of Police Josephine Ade, disclosed this in an interview with journalists, addressing public concerns about the purpose of the tinted glass regulation. Ade clarified that it was introduced for security reasons, noting that some criminal activities had been carried out using vehicles with blackened windows. The Federal Capital Territory Minister, Nyesom Wike, has officially flagged off a key project for the provision of engineering infrastructure to the Asokoro-Guzape district of the nation's capital. He says the project is aimed at enhancing development, improving connectivity, and boosting socio-economic growth across the Federal Capital Territory. Kabir Hassan was there for Global Television.
The flag-off comes as part of the Federal Capital Territory Administration renewed agenda to boost infrastructure development across the nation's capital. The FCT Minister Nyesom Wike says the administration remains committed to the continuous provision of infrastructure across the Federal Capital Territory.
We will continue to provide basic infrastructure. We will continue to do all we can to see that Abuja takes a different look, competes with other cities of the world.
The project, with the provision of full engineering infrastructure to outstanding areas within the Asokoro-Guzape district, is being expected to be completed within 18 months and will cover 24 short roads, totaling 9.2 kilometers. Wike commended President Bola Tinubu for keeping his promises under the renewed hope agenda, assuring that the FCT will continue to reflect the vision of the current administration.
Mr. President has promised all of us, not only just those in Abuja, those who are living outside Abuja, that we are different. And that's the essence of reading the hope agenda. If things were good, we wouldn't have had the new hope agenda.
The project, when completed, is expected to improve security, enhance accessibility, and raise the living standard of residents within the area, as the residents of the district say that the new infrastructure will further open up the area for development. Kabir Hassan, reporting for Global TV News.
Nigerian Railway Corporation has condemned what it described as another disturbing act of vandalism on the Lagos-Ibadan Standard Gauge Rail Corridor. The incident occurred between Agege and Agbado stations, where unidentified persons had allegedly tampered with critical signaling components used in coordinating train movements. A statement by the corporation's Chief Public Relations Officer, Callistus Onyemadu, says the vandalized items include the removal of signal machine cap protectors and the cutting of connection cables on the switch point machine. The Federal Roads Maintenance Agency has launched a special intervention codenamed Operation Safeguard the Roads, aimed at reducing road traffic crashes in Kogi State. The program was inaugurated by Mukhtar Abdurrahim, Federal Roads Maintenance Engineer in the state, at Ochadamo along the Itobe-Ayingba Road. Abdurrahim explained that the initiative seeks to enhance the efficiency of federal roads for motorists while providing opportunities for youths along the road corridors. You're watching the live broadcast of the AM News. When the rest of the news returns, House of Representatives rejects United States bill alleging killing of Christians in Nigeria. Details coming shortly, plus business and sports stories for you. On the other side of this break, please do stay with us. The second part of this news broadcast now returns with business. President Bola Tinubu has urged the Senate to approve the implementation of the new external borrowing plan in the 2025 Appropriation Act to refinance maturing Eurobonds. The president, in a letter read by the president of the Senate, Godswill Akpabio, during plenary, said the action has become necessary to cover parts of the budget deficit and ensure Nigeria meets its debt obligations. Topsy Gimba has details.
The President's request is titled Request for the Resolution of the National Assembly to Implement New External Borrowing in the 2025 Appropriation Act, refinance maturing Eurobonds, and issue debt sovereign sukuk in the international capital market. Tinubu said the purpose of the letter was to seek resolution of the Senate pursuant to the provisions of Section 21, Subsection 1 and 27, Subsection 1 of the Debt Management Office Established Act 2023 to implement the new external borrowing of 1.84 trillion naira, equivalent to USD $1.22 at the budget exchange rate of USD 1.00/1.5 US dollars in the 2025 Appropriation Act for the part financing of the budget deficit. He said the facility will be assessed through any of the following channels in the international capital market, ICM, issuance of the Eurobonds, loan syndications, budget finance facility from the book runners, and direct borrowing from the international financial institution. He also requested a resolution to issue a stand-alone debt sovereign sukuk of up to $5 million in the ICM without credit enhancements guaranteed. He therefore invited the Senate to approve the loan. The loan was referred to the Senate Committee on Loans, Local Foreign Debts. Topsy Gimba reporting for Global TV News.
The House of Representatives has called on the executive arm of government to ensure a coherent and transparent regulatory framework that sanitizes the digital lending space while protecting consumers and giving confidence to investors, telecom operators, and fintech players. This was the resolution of the House following a motion raised under matters of urgent national importance moved by Nnamdi Ezechi from Delta State at plenary. National Assembly correspondent Anietie Patrick now reports.
According to Ezechi, there is need to address the overlapping jurisdictions, procedural gaps, and investor concerns arising from the Federal Competition and Consumer Protection Commission. Part of the resolution of the motion mandates the Nigerian Communications Commission, NCC, Central Bank of Nigeria, Nigeria Investment Promotion Commission, and Altcon to suspend compliance directives relating to the said regulations until issues of overlap and ambiguity are addressed.
Mandate the Nigerian Communication Commission, NCC, Central Bank of Nigeria, Nigeria Investment Promotion Commission, and Atom to suspend their further actions, constitute a special ad hoc committee.
Ruling on the motion, Speaker Tajuddin Abbas noted that an ad hoc would be constituted to investigate the concerns raised by stakeholders and by extension engage with FCCPC, NCC, CB, NDPC, NIPC, Alston and other players and a proposed harmonized framework. In another development, the House of Representatives is calling for urgent action to tackle the rising wave of insecurity across parts of Kwara State, particularly in the Ifelodun, Ofa, and Oyo federal constituency. This follows a motion moved on the floor of the House by Tijani Ismail, who represents the constituency, expressing deep concern over the recurring violent attacks that have left many dead and several communities displaced.
Urge the Chief of Defense Staff, Inspector General of Police, Commandant General of Civil Defense to intensify deployment and coordinated security operations in affected areas. Direct NEMA to provide urgent humanitarian relief to the displaced persons.
In its resolution, the House commiserated with the victims' families and affected communities, while urging the Chief of Defense Staff, the Inspector General of Police, and the Commandant General of the Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps to intensify coordinated security operations in the affected areas. Aniete Patrick, reporting for Global TV.
Accused have resurfaced in parts of the Federal Capital Territory as panic buying grips motorists across the city. The situation, which has persisted through the week, has raised concerns among residents about the possible return of scarcity. Zarao Nasir has details for us.
Panic buying of petrol, often triggered by fears of supply shortages or price increase, has once again led to long queues at several filling stations in the Federal Capital Territory. Some motorists say the situation is worsened by the closure of other stations liking the product, leaving only NNPC outlets and a few major marketers dispensing fuel to the public.
It will be as a result of the Pengasting 3-day strike. I think they've called it off. Everything will soon return to normalcy.
Few filling stations, they are all shut down, no fuel. So to me, I'm beginning to think maybe the first subsidy is about to revolve again.
An official of one of the filling stations who spoke on condition of anonymity attributed the development to the ripple effect of last month's strike, which disrupted loading and distribution activities across depots. Nigerians are now calling on relevant authorities and stakeholders in the oil sector to address the situation promptly to prevent a full-blown fuel scarcity. Zarao Nasir, reporting for Global TV News.
Zarao Nasir, they are tracking the fuel distribution situation for us in Abuja. Thank you so very much. Let's now turn to the foreign scene. The House of Representatives has rejected the narrative that frame Nigeria's security crisis as a singularly religious conflict or a state-sponsored persecution, reaffirming the country's constitutional protections for freedom of religion and belief. This was the position of the House following a motion raised under matters of urgent national importance moved by the Deputy Speaker Benjamin Kalu and other members. Correspondent Aniete Patrick has details and more from yesterday's plenary.
It would be recalled that on September 9, 2025, a bill titled the Nigerian Religious Freedom Accountability Act of 2025 was introduced in the United States Senate, seeking to require the U.S. Secretary of State to designate Nigeria a country of particular concern, aiming to impose sanctions on Nigerian officials under the Executive Order 13818 and related authorities. Also, the U.S. Commission on International Religious Freedom has in recent annual reports recommended Nigeria for CPC designation, citing persistent violations and state failures to protect against non-state actor abuses. Due to the above, the House, through its Deputy Speaker, Benjamin Kalu, is concerned that the external legislative actions based on incompetent assessments risks undermining Nigerian sovereignty and misrepresenting facts.
based on incomplete or decontextualized assessment risks undermining Nigeria's sovereignty.
Members on the floor also registered their opinions while proposing measures necessary towards redeeming the image of the nation.
It is a deliberate attempt to damage Nigeria's image.
We must re-engineer our parliamentary diplomacy.
What we are seeing here is global politics, and we cannot shy away from it.
The House also resolved to constitute a dialogue panel to interface with the United States for holistic resolution. Meanwhile, the House has again employed the National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA, to without delay provide relief materials to victims of the recent boat mishap in Kogi State.
Mandate the Committee on Safety Standards and Regulations and National Inland Waterway to evaluate and receive briefings on safety measures from the Federal Ministry of Transportation.
Speaker Tajudeen Abbas, who presided at plenary, also directed relevant committees to seek further approach in implementing all legislative resolve. Annie T. Patrick, reporting for Global TV.
Well, thank you, Aniete. The International Committee of the Red Cross says more than 80% of healthcare facilities have exhausted their supplies of essential medicines in Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo, where violence continues unabated. Head of ICRC's DRC delegation, François Morion, stated during a press conference in Kinshasa that the International Committee of the Red Cross is all the more alarmed as the situation on the ground is deteriorating.
For 30 years, the country's mineral-rich east has been torn apart by conflict, with violence intensifying earlier this year since the M23, a Rwanda-backed armed group, seized the key cities of Goma and Bukavu. Clashes between the M23 and the Congolese army and allied militia have left thousands dead and millions displaced since January. Meanwhile, a U.S.-brokered peace deal between the DRC and Rwanda in June is proving slow to take effect on the ground. In September, the International Committee of the Red Cross studied 240 health centers and clinics in North and South Kivu provinces, where the front line has been stable since March. Uyi Agmofwegbe, reporting for Global TV News.
Now time to take it to the ever exciting world of sports. Nigeria's promising table tennis stars Matthew Kuti and Moise Adegoke have made notable progress in the latest International Table Tennis Federation World Rankings for week 41, as both players climbed 5 places each in a week that saw renewed Nigerian movement across the global standings. Veteran Quadri Aruna remains Nigeria's highest-ranked player, holding firm in 25th place with 1,185 points. The 37-year-old continues to lead Africa's contingent ahead of Egypt's Omar and Saul and Yusuf Abdelaziz, who sit outside the global top 30. Aruna's consistency at the top level reflects his enduring dominance, as he remains one of the few African players consistently competing on the world table tennis circuit. Head coach of Nigeria's under-20 women's national team, Moses Aduku, has charged the country's under-17 side, the Flamingos, to remain focused and united as they prepare for the FIFA Under-17 Women's World Cup in Morocco. Aduku visited the team's camp in Abuja to deliver a motivational message to the players, urging them to play with belief and discipline as they aim to make history for Nigeria on the global stage. No better time to have that pep talk. And that's all we have for you here on the AM News today. Thank you so very much for watching. Remember that Global Television is on DSTV channel 365, Star Times channel 276, and we encourage you to follow, engage, and subscribe to all of our channels across social media using @GlobalTVNG as well as other handles as we continue to show to you in the course of our broadcasts. I'm Uyi Agmofwegbe. Global Morning starts shortly.